Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Blazing Sun. Today is the fourth session of our complete Python fundamentals from basics to advanced course. And today we are going to study the conditional statements in Python, which are if statement, if else statements, if elif and else statements, and we are also going to study what are nested conditional statements. At the end of this session, I will also tell you what exactly the ternary operators are. So let's get started. Now, what actually the conditional statements are? Let us discuss this. So, conditional statements are basically the statements used to make decisions based on a particular condition. So, we can say these are used to make decisions based on some conditions. So just like in real life, uh, we want to make a decision. So we make that decision based on certain conditions or certain scenarios. Similarly, in programming as well, we do need to make certain decisions, uh, and those decisions are basically decided based on certain conditions. So to make those decisions, these condition statements are used. Now there are different types of conditional statements. First one is if statement. What actually if statement is? See, if you have a particular condition and you want to perform a certain decision, or you want to run particular lines of code only if a particular set of conditions are true, you use a if statement. So I can say that it executes a block of code only if the condition is true. Now let me give you the syntax for this. Syntax basically means uh, just like in English, you have certain grammatical rules. Similarly, the syntax is basically a rule of writing this if statement. So how you will write it? You will write if, then you will write how is this if statement written? You will write if, and after if you will write the condition. This condition can be anything depending on the scenario. Then you will put these symbols of colons, and then you have to give a gap. This gap is also called an indentation. It is basically used to tell Python that see, everything below this if condition, whatever I am writing is one block of code, and it comes under if condition. It is a separate block of code, and you have to only run that particular block of code if this condition is true. So here what you will write, I am telling you, you will write code to execute uh, only if the condition is true. There can be any number of lines, but remember to give a particular fixed gap over here, which is also called uh, indentation. Uh, this space is called indentation. So you have to give a fixed indentation. It should be fixed for a particular block of code. This indentation is not only necessary in the case of conditional statements, but when you will study loops, when you will study functions, and yeah, and when you will study the concepts of file handling in the future, at that time also these indentations are very necessary. So remember this. Now let me give you an example. So the example is, suppose I want to print if a person is eligible to vote or not. I say, let's say I have a hard-coded value stored in a variable called age, and the age of the person is, let's say, 20. Now I want to take a decision if a person is able to vote or not. So the condition is if, then I am writing the condition age is greater than or equal to 18. Then I am putting this colons, and then I am giving an indentation here, and I am writing the print statement, and that print statement I am writing eligible to vote, eligible to vote. So you can see that age is actually 20. So what Python will do is it will store the age. Uh, in the age variable, it will store the value 20. Then it will move to the next line. Then it will move to this next line. It will see that, hey, I have been given a particular condition. This is an if statement. And okay, what will be the value of this statement? Age is greater than or equal to 18. So is 20 is 20 greater than or equal to 18? The answer is true. Yes, 20 is actually greater than 18. Since this condition results are true, so this particular statement, print statement, will get executed. Suppose the age was not 20 and let's say 15. So this condition of age greater than or equal to 18 would be false, and then in that case, no print statement would get executed. Now, let us write this particular program in the form of code. So I am creating a new file called if if statement. uh, just for you so that you can easily uh, check this particular code is for which conditional statement. So in this, what I am doing is I will take the age as an input. Let's say I am taking the input, and within the input I am writing enter your age. And since this age is actually integer, so I have to convert this particular input from string to integer by writing int outside this input. Now what I will do is I will write if, then I will write age greater than or equal to 18. Then I will put the colon. Then I have given an indentation. This indentation I have given already. Then I am writing print eligible to vote. This is our program. Let us run this program. Suppose I am giving the age of 50, let's say 20, just like our example. So since 20 is greater than 18, this condition will be true and eligible to vote will get printed. Let's say our age was 18. So again the condition will be true because 18 is actually equal to 18 and the particular age should be equal to or greater than 18 to meet this particular condition. So eligible to vote will get printed again. Let's say I'll take some age like 15. Now 15 is actually lesser than 18, so that particular condition will get false. So nothing should get printed on the console. See, nothing got printed. This is because this particular line of code never got executed. Now, after this if statement, we also have an if-else statement. So let us write this. The second one is if-else statement. So what it actually is, chooses a particular block of code if the condition, remember this if the condition is true, else chooses the other block. Now what I actually mean by it is, suppose I am giving an example and I am storing a value of 15 in a variable called num. Now I am writing if num modulus 2 is equal to 0. What I basically want to say is if this num when divided by 2 the particular remainder is 0, which means that num is even, I will print uh, let's say even, or to make the user experience better I should write the number is even. Now, if I will just give this particular statement, we know that 15 is an odd number, so its modulus by 2 will never be equal to 0, but it will be equal to 1. So in that case, nothing will get printed and the user might get confused. So we know that uh, we should also print if the number is odd or not. So I will write else. Then I will give colons and then I will write print the number is odd. So you can see that in this case, uh, we have given two conditions. If the not two conditions, we have given one condition. If this particular condition, if this particular condition is true, this print statement will get executed. But if this condition is false, the Python, the interpreter will move to this line and it will then move to this line and it will execute this print statement. This particular print statement will get executed. So let me write a particular code for this example. I am creating a new file called if-else.py. Suppose I am writing a program to find whether the number is even or odd. So what I will do is I will declare a variable num, not declare, I will assign it to a particular value. So what I will do is I will give it particular value which will be equal to the value given by the user. So I will take an input from the user and I will tell the user enter a number, and this input is actually in a form of string, so I have to convert it into integer. In this way, and then I'm writing if num modulo 2 is equal to 0. You must always remember that this is a double equal to symbol used to check the equality, and this is a single equal to symbol used to assign a particular value to a variable. So if the remainder of particular number when divided by 2 is 0, it is a even number, so I will give a message to the user, the number is even. And if this particular condition is not true, I will write else, and then I have to write another statement which will get printed. I will write the number is odd. You should remember and understand this particular program because it is a very basic but a very important program. This logic of a remainder to find out if a number is even or odd is very important. So let us run this code. Suppose I give the input as 10. So we know that 10 is an even number. So the number is even has got printed. Suppose I run this program again. Now I will give the value 7. So we know that 7 is an odd number. So 7's remainder when divided by 2 will not be equal to 0. So we should get the another statement, and yes, the number is odd gets printed. Now after this, we have a third conditional statement as well. If elif else statements. So before explaining these, I want to tell you that whatever we will write over here, like we will write some if a particular block of code for if, we will write some particular block of code for elif, and we will then also write some particular block of code for else. So this else is optional, which actually means is you can just write if and elif, or you can just write if, elif, and else. So else does not necessarily needs to be there in your code, uh, and without else, you will not get any syntax error. Let me tell you where it is actually used. It is used when there are multiple conditions to check. Now let me give you the syntax for this. So the syntax will be if, then I will give the condition 1, then colon, then I will write first block of code, block 1. Remember there should be some indentation over here. Then I will write elif, then condition 2, then there would be this another block called, let us call it block 2. Then we can write any number of elifs. It can be 1, 2, or many. Let's say this is third block of code. Then we can write else. This else will only get executed if none of these conditions above it are true. Actually, this is a default block. What I want to say is that this else will get executed in the case when nothing is executed. So any number of elif blocks can, or we should say block elif statements can be there. And one more thing, this else is a default block and it is actually optional. Let us now see how actually what actually happens is, say what Python will do is it will first move to this particular line of code. It will check this condition. If this condition gets true, let's say yes, it is correct. This particular block of code, the block 1, will get executed, and Python will directly move to the other lines which are below this else statement, not the default block, means anything within the else block or else statement will not get executed. Suppose I have many other lines over here, those lines will get executed. Now let me take a case that this particular condition was not true. So what Python will do is, from this particular line, it will directly move to this line and it will check the second condition whether it is correct or not. Suppose this condition gets correct, so it will execute this particular block 2, and after this execution of the block 2, it will directly move to those particular lines which were after this conditional statements. Now let us take a case when this particular block of code or this particular elif condition was not true. So what Python will do is, it will ignore this particular block and it will directly move to this third conditional statement of elif, and it will check this condition. Let's say this particular condition is true, then it will execute this third block and it will then move to the particular lines of code after these conditional statements. Now let me take a condition that this conditional statement is false. If it is false, Python will ignore this and it will directly move to this else statement, and this else statement will then get executed. So this particular default block will get executed, and after this default block, if there are any particular lines of code outside this block, they will also get executed. So this was actually the flow of program. So you can see that if nothing gets executed, this particular else block will always get executed, but it is optional. So Python will not give any error if you do not write this else statement. Now let me give you a particular example. Let's say I have a variable called marks, which are equal to 82. Then I am writing a particular condition if marks are greater than or equal to 90. Then these colons, I am printing print grade A. Then I have another condition. Let's say I'm writing elif. Yeah, there was one more thing I want to tell you, that elif actually stands for else if. So in other programming languages, there is something called as else if, and in Python, the else if is actually written as elif. So I am writing elif, marks are greater than or equal to 75. Then I am printing grade E. Now if there is one more condition in which marks are greater than or equal to 60. So what I am printing, I am printing grade C. Now let us say if none of these conditions was true. In that case, I am giving the particular student grade D. So I will write grade D. So see, the value of marks is 82 82 is actually not greater than or equal to 90. So this gets ignored. Python will move to this particular statement. It will check whether 82 is greater than 75 or equal to it. So yes, 82 is actually greater than 75. Yeah. So this particular statement, grade B, will get printed. After that, what Python will do is it will directly jump to any other block of code which is, or any other line of code which is outside these conditional statements. Suppose there was any other line over here, it will jump to that line. So this is how if else and if-elif-else statements work. You can take other values of marks as well, and yes, to understand it more properly, you can write different test cases and try to understand what will happen in each and every test case. So let me write a particular code for this particular example. So let's say I'm giving this file name of if-elif-else, just for your reference of what we are studying over here. So let's say I'm taking marks as the input and I'm giving the user a message, enter your marks, and these marks will actually be integer, so I will convert this input into integer. Now what I will do is I will give my let's say first condition, if marks are greater than or equal to 90, I am printing grade A. Now if this particular condition is false and marks are actually greater than or equal to 75, I am printing grade B. If this particular block of code is never executed, what I mean to say is that the above conditions were false and marks are actually greater than uh, marks are actually greater than or equal to 60, I am printing grade C. Now if none of these conditions were true, so the default block will get executed under the else statement. In that case, I am printing grade D. So this was our program. Now let me run this program. Suppose my marks were 100. So the first conditional statement, which was marks are greater than or equal to 90, should get executed. So my grade should be uh, A. Suppose I am giving another value of, let's say, 85. So 85 are actually greater than or equal to 75. So I should get a grade of B. Suppose I have my marks as 60. So 60 are actually greater than or equal to 60. So I should get a grade of C. Now let us say my grade are neither greater than or equal to 90, nor greater than or equal to 75, and nor greater than or equal to 60. In that case, let us take an example where my marks are equal to, let's say, 35. So in that case, the else statement should get executed and I should get an output as grade D. Yes. Now, in the conditional statements, we have studied the if statement, the if-else statements, and the if-elif-else statements. Now, moving forward, the fourth statements which we have are nested statements. What I mean to say is, nested statements basically means one conditional statement inside another statement, another conditional statement. There was one more thing I want to tell you. See, we have studied if statement, that was fine. We have studied if-else statement. In this if-else statement, this else can not exist without this if block. So this if block needs to exist, uh, and without this else block will never exist. There is a particular case in the cases of loops, the for loop. In the case of loops, where we use else clause, that is a different case. But for conditional statements, in these cases, else cannot exist without if condition. Similarly, these elifs cannot exist without cannot exist without if statement. So your conditional statements can not directly start from elif statement. So it is not possible that only this particular block of code is there, or only this particular block of code is there. You necessarily need to have this if statement as well. Now moving to the nested statements. I told you that nested statements are one conditional statements inside another conditional statements. So the syntax for these are, let's say there is if I have a condition, if condition 1, and within this condition I have another condition, if condition 2, let's say, and then I have some code. You can also have an else if or elif or else statement inside this. It will not matter much. You can also have elif condition, let's say 3, some code over here, and let's say you have some else block over here, and this particular code as well, some code as well. Then after this else, if you have some else, and then you have some code as well. So you can see this, that inside this if statement, I have another group of conditional statements as well. So this scenario is called nested statements, nested conditional statements, because one conditional statement is residing inside the another one. Now, one thing you need to know is, first let me give you an example for this. Let's say the example is, let's say I have a variable called age and its value is 22. I have another uh, variable called citizen. I have another variable called citizen and it has a Boolean value of true. Now, I want to check if age is greater than or equal to 18, and within this particular condition I am also checking if citizen see, instead of if citizen you can also write if citizen is equal to true. uh, you can start writing your code as a practice with this, but after you become uh, comfortable with this particular programming language and you become habitual with it, you will understand this particular thing actually means the same as this, because uh, this particular thing will return a boolean if the citizen has a value of true. Similarly, this citizen will give a value of true here, and if true is something which is always what I mean to say is that anything within if true always gets executed. So you can also write if citizen equal to true. Uh, you could have also written this. Instead, I am writing this, and then I am printing eligible to vote. So what I have done is I have taken a variable of age which has a value 22. I have taken a variable Boolean variable having a value true which is called citizen. Then I am checking whether the age has a value of greater than or equal to 18. If it actually has a value of greater than or equal to 18, then only then I am checking whether this condition, uh, when the citizen is equals to true, is correct or not. If this citizen is actually equal to true, I am printing eligible to vote. Otherwise, I am not printing anything. So in this case, 22 is actually greater than or equal to 18. So this is true. And citizen has a value of true. So this is also true. So print will get executed. Print statement will get executed. Now, this is a block of code, but I want to tell you something, that this is a fine block of code. means there's no problem with this logic. But nested statements, or you can say deeply nested statements, when there is too much nesting done in the conditional statements, are avoided. So I have a particular note for you. Note. Deeply nested uh, statements are avoided. Why are they avoided? Because it is not a good habit or a good practice of writing a code, just because it makes the code uh, very complex and difficult for another person to read, because it makes the code more difficult to manage and read. So a particular uh, level of nesting is done, that is okay. But if you are doing too much of nesting, then it will cause trouble to the another developer. So we try to avoid this. So what I will do is, instead of doing this particular nesting, I will write this same code, uh, this particular code without doing any nesting, and you will see the difference. I am doing above code without any nesting, uh, any nested statements. This code will look better and easy to understand. So what I have done is I have taken a variable, two variables. Okay. So first I am taking a variable called age. I am assigning the same value of 22 to it. Okay. Then I am uh, giving the another variable citizen a value of true. After this, I am writing if age is greater than or equal to 18. Now I have to also check whether the person is a citizen or not. So only in the case when both of the conditions are true, in that particular case only, we will display an output. So which logical operator returns true only when both of the conditions or all the conditions are true, that is AND operator. So I will write AND citizen. You can also write citizen double equal to true, but for the practice, yeah, that you can also write, but with time you will see that that is not needed. You can directly write this as this, uh, then semicolon, then you will print eligible to vote. Now you can see the difference. Now you can see the difference between these two particular codes. Uh, this assigning the values to the variables was same over here, but I have condensed this logic from nested statements. I have just written a particular one conditional statement. On the basis of it, I have written the print statement. This is actually a better code than this, but this is also acceptable because you have not done too much nesting in it. So both of the code are good, but this one is better. Now let us uh, write uh, a particular code in our VS Code for this example. I am creating a new file called Nested Statements, just for your reference, .v1. Suppose I take uh, the age as an input, which will be an integer, and I am telling the person, enter your age. Then I am also taking particular variable called citizen and assigning it a value of true. Now I am writing if age is greater than or equal to 18, and within it I am writing if citizen. You could have also written if citizen is equals to true. Both are accepted. This is just a comment. And after this, you are, if both of the conditions are true, you are printing eligible to vote. Now let me run this program. In our example, the age was 22. So yeah, the person is actually eligible to vote. Now let me say the age is actually equal to, let's say, 15. So the person should not be eligible to vote, so nothing gets printed. Now I am changing this particular variable of citizen from true to false. So what will happen is, even if this particular if condition is true, this particular if condition of citizen would be false, so nothing will get printed. Let's say my age is, let's say, 22 again. See, nothing got printed. Now let us say my age was 15. Again, nothing will get printed. Now let us say instead of this program, instead of the nested program, I am just using the AND operator to make I have commented some part of my code. Then I am writing if age is greater than or equal to 18 and citizen. You can also write citizen equal to true. Then in that case you are printing eligible to vote. So let us run this program. Suppose my age was 22. So yeah, I am eligible to vote. Suppose my age is 15. So yes, I am not eligible to vote. So nothing will get printed. Now I am changing this citizen from true to false. Now, irrespective of whether my age is greater than or equal to 18 or lesser than that, I will never be eligible to vote because I am not a citizen. So let's say my age is 22. Nothing will get printed. Suppose my age is 15. Nothing will get printed. So yes, this is a better code, but our main focus was nested statements as well. You should understand this, that nesting can sometimes be problematic because it makes the code very complex to understand. So yes, you should also not know this particular way of coding as well, and it is much better than the nested statements. Moving forward, after these uh, nested statements as well, I told you that we will study the ternary operators after we study these if-else statements. So the fifth ones are conditional expressions or ternary operators. Uh, I am giving a new heading, ternary operator, ternary operators. So earlier I told you that ternary operator has one condition. It has a condition, and on the basis of it can have either this value 1, or value 2. So let me uh, write the syntax, then I will explain it to you. So the syntax is let's say I am assigning this particular uh, I am assigning a particular variable some value. Let's say I am giving some uh, value 1. It will be only given if condition 1 is true. If condition 1 is true, else value 2 will be given. Let me give one example. Uh, the example is, let's say I have a variable called age of 20. Then I have to create a new variable called status, and I am assigning a particular value to the status on the basis of this age. So I want to assign a value of uh, adult to the status if the age is greater than or equal to 18. If the age of a particular person is lesser than 18, I will give the status as minor. So I have written status is equal to adult if age is greater than or equal to 18. Otherwise, we will give the status as minor. You can also print the value of status to check the output. And in this case, since 20 is actually greater than or equal to 18, adult will get assigned to status. So we will get uh, adult in our output. Now, yeah, this was it. So basically, ternary operator is one line conditional expression. because in one line only we have written an expression, and on the basis of those conditions we are assigning a particular value. Now for this ternary operator, let us write a particular code so to see how it actually works. So I am creating a new file called ternary operator py. Now I am taking a variable of age as an input, and I am telling the person enter your age, and this age will actually be an integer. So yeah, uh, now what I want to do is I want to assign status, which is another variable, a value on the basis of the age. I want to assign it the value of adult if age is greater than or equal to 18. Otherwise, I want to assign it the value minor. Now I will print the uh, status variables value. Suppose I give the input. Let's say I want to give the age as, let's say, 15. So minor will get printed because 15 is lesser than 18. Now suppose the age is 18, so adult should get printed. Suppose the age is, let's say, 22, so adult should get printed again. So this was all about ternary operators. Now I want to tell you one thing, that we call it ternary operator, but in Python the more used term is conditional expression. So you can also call it ternary operator, but in the language of Python it is more often called as conditional expression. So continuing our discussion, after the ternary operators, I have a question for you, in which you have to take two numbers as input from the user, and you have to print the number which is larger. So I want you to pause the video and try this question for yourself. Now I am giving you the solution. So first I am writing the code, then I will run the code on the VS Code as also. So first I will take a number as input, two numbers as input. So let's say the first number is num1. I am taking an integer as an input. So int input, enter first number. Now similarly, you can also take the input of the second number. You can say int input, enter second number. After taking two inputs from the user, now you will write a conditional statement if num1 is greater than or equals to num2. You will print num1 is greater than num2. Otherwise, you will print num2 is greater than num1. So if num1 is actually greater than or equal to num2, this particular statement will get printed. This particular block of code will get executed. Otherwise, this print statement will get executed. Now, some of you will say that, hey, you are also putting an equal to symbol here. So if both numbers, num1 and num2 are equal, let's say both are 5. In that case, this particular condition will be true. This particular condition will be true. So this will get printed that num1 is actually greater than num2, but they are equal. So we are neglecting that case for now. In that case also we are printing that num1 is actually greater than num2, or you can even print the values of num1 or num2 instead of num1 num2 as words. So that is totally fine for now. Or if you have a problem, you can even remove this equal to symbol over here. You can write an elif num2 is greater than num1 and then write this statement. And the third statement would be else, where you can easily print that num1 is equal to num2. That is totally fine. This is just for your understanding to tell you that what to do and what not to do. So, okay, I should make this code better. So I am removing this equal to symbol over here. I am removing this else over here. I have written elif num2 is greater than num1. In that case, this particular statement will get printed. Otherwise, the only default condition or the condition which can be true is that both of them are equal. So we will give the output that num1 is equal to num2. So this was our code. Try to understand this code. Don't mug it up. You should understand the logic behind it. And now let's code this into our VS Code editor. So I am creating a new file called larger number.py. What I am doing is I am taking the first integer as the input, and I am telling the user enter first number. Then I am taking another variable as input, and I am telling the user enter second number. Now I am writing a condition statement. If num1 is greater than num2, I will print num1 is greater, or I should say first number is greater than second number, or if second number is greater than the first number, I will print second number is greater than first number. Otherwise, the only condition left is, which I can write as else statement, that both the numbers are equal. Both the numbers are equal. Now let's run this program. Suppose first number is 9, second number is 11, second number is greater than first number. Suppose the first number is 100 and second number is 15. So first number is greater than second number. Suppose uh, first number is 20 and second number is also 20. Both the numbers are equal. So this was our code. If you learned something new today, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Thank you.